Hello, everybody. Welcome to the PWO WrestleCast. It's your prediction show. And of course, we got a three-man booth with you tonight. As always, I'm your host, Matt. With me is Ryan Alvarez, and backed by popular demand, it's Pat.
Okay, so full disclosure for this. Okay, this is the second recording because Pat came and we didn't think that he was going to be a part of it, just doing life stuff. Matt and I recorded about the first third of this already, and
It was like a fifth.
the opening to this was like he was on speed and came hot out of the gates, and to see him come into this one so calm and reserved kind of popped me. So
It's called a crash, Ryan. The end of the binge, not pretty good.
Cocaine's a hell of a drug.
Cocaine is a hell of a drug, and so is professional wrestling. As any 80s wrestler will tell you, some of them prefer the cocaine, some of them don't. Dark Side of the Ring, great reference. There's a plug for you that they weren't ready for. So, we're talking about NXT in your house, and I'm actually kind of excited for this show. The past couple of times we had an Impact and an NXT show on the same weekend, NXT has ended up kind of stealing the show. They've done very well. And I think you have some matches on this card that are going to be fantastic. You do have some that are only going to be, but I think overall we're going to be pretty good. There's only 5 announced for it. We're expecting a 6th pre-show match, maybe involving Candice LeRae or Io Shirai, something along those lines, we think. But let's get right on into it. Xia Li versus Mercedes Martinez. This is a great, I think, storyline from Xia Li's intro to WWE with the Mae Young Classic, losing to Mercedes Martinez. I've really enjoyed the storyline. I think the right decision, if we're going to book Xia Li, and from here on out, have her on TV regularly, or at least somewhat regularly, and not on a once per month decision here, is to have Xia Li win, especially considering Mercedes Martinez is heading to Raw. She's going to be a part of the Evolution. That's not much of a mystery.
Is that confirmed or is it just heavily?
It's pretty heavily rumored between her and NXT UK superstar Piper Niven.
Yeah.
Viper.
Yeah. As much as I disagree with how Xia Li has been booked on NXT programming since this new turn of hers, this is a Xia Li win. It should be. My problem with the whole Xia Li experience, I guess, at the moment is that they're not making me want to invest my time into this. And the reason is because of the constant start and stop with her character. We'll have a really cool vignette and you want to buy in, and then you don't see her for 3 weeks. And then you get another cool vignette, and then it's another few weeks where you see another one, and in a way from you building, if you're trying to build, drama, I guess, or try and build the anticipation, I can see it, but it's not working. So if they're really going to push her, she needs to be on TV at least every other week, because I know it gets pretty heavy-handed booking NXT on a weekly basis. But yeah, Mercedes Martinez going to the main roster. She'll be the heavy for Eva Marie, which, if you think about it, is kind of what they're doing with Raquel Gonzalez and Dakota Kai. Or that's how it started. And then now the roles are reversed. But I think that's what that'll look like. Xia Li will win here. Zoe Stark will probably be next for her.
Yeah, I mean, obviously NXT has a history of people going out on their back, as they should. So if she is going up, I'm sure she's going to put Xia Li over, because This is not a very good women's division right now, at least not up to par with what NXT historically has been. It's not to say that they're bad or anything, but it's just not quite where it's been in the past. So they've got to start fresh and really start building back. I'll be interested to see what you guys think for the women's title later, how that's going to play out, because I wonder about maybe is
Yeah, go ahead and tell you. I
Raquel.
think that's the easiest prediction of the night for me.
Just to piggyback off of what Pat's talking about, as far as just the lack of superstar power within the division and the lack of depth, we're going to have a draft here in a couple of months, and when they don't normally include NXT talent in that, they normally do a superstar shakeup or something to exclude them from the draft every single year. They're going to have to this year.
Yeah, it's absolutely going to have NXT stars in it because they've just cut a ton of talent from the main roster. So they're going to have to kind of fortify the numbers, so to speak,
Yeah, and to Pat's point, you're going to deplete an already kind of weak division. So this is a great opportunity to build Xia Li into a potential contender.
Well, I definitely think I don't know if we want to just transition to know it's not going to be the next match on the card, but I don't know if we want to transition to the women's championship match.
We can in a minute. Let me put one thing out there, and then we can.
Okay.
Triple H in his conference call today said this is the best women's division in the world, and the best women are wrestling here. And if they're not, they want to.
No, Trips can say that all he wants, but unless Tessa Blanchard shows up this weekend, he's wrong.
Well, it's possible because no one knows who the Diamond Mind is, which is going to be a prediction. Make sure you're keeping that in your head here. But I think the talent is there. You did just sign Priscilla Kelly. You haven't seen her in forever. You signed Cora Jade, but she's gone now. You've cut her. You have a bunch of talent that you've signed. Frankie Monet.
I was going to say, like, Valkyrie, man, they just, signed her to have her.
Well, she just debuted. She just had her in ring. There's time. But you have a large number of women on the roster. We need to start using some of them and get some new faces, I think, at this point.
I kind of feel like they wasted her coming to NXT. If I'm being honest.
We'll have to save that, I think, for another show because we can rant on that one, I think.
Okay.
But I definitely think that's a good discussion question for us to have here. Maybe give her a month, and then we'll talk. Month of in-ring action. Action. And then we'll give a more decisive opinion, and then we'll do a year later. But I think there's a large amount of talent there. But I think we got to start moving, and we got to maybe set up some more tag teams for your women's NXT tag titles that you have, because there's really not many people there for that, because you just pulled one of your tag team wrestlers to wrestle for your women's title, Raquel Gonzalez versus Ember Moon on the show. Ember Moon stood tall. Wrestling math to me says is Raquel Gonzalez. I also don't see them shortening Gonzalez's title reign here. I think they're going to try and make her Shayna Baszler.
I really wanted Raquel Gonzalez to get better, but it seems like she's not really actively competing on NXT, which is a little disappointing because I feel like Raquel Gonzalez is still a little green, to the point where if she would have more matches on TV, and whether it be a tag match or what have you, there would be improvement there. Ember Moon's gonna wrestle circles around her Saturday, and it's not gonna look. And she's gonna carry Raquel Gonzalez to a Raquel Gonzalez win. Um, there's just nothing there. I was very excited when Raquel Gonzalez pinned Io Shirai at War Games because we all knew what was coming. It was just something different at the time, and the build was okay. The match that she won the title in was fine, and now we're here in your title reign. And what's your trademark? Like I would rather be Dakota Kai because Dakota Kai at least has some character. Raquel Gonzalez is boring. She, I can't pinpoint what it is that just doesn't excite me about her.
She's PG China.
I was about to say she's female Kevin Nash with not as much star power around her.
She's PG China.
All right, Pat.
I do think she'll retain. I also think the loser is going to end back up on the main roster somewhere.
I'm thinking maybe not, just because I think Shotzi will get a title shot when she's back from injury. And I think you can't afford to take Ember Moon and Shotzi as one of your few tag teams in NXT and bump them up.
Vince has never cared about NXT, and I just feel like they're going to use Ember Moon to, revamp a women's division.
I think they need her on the main roster, probably way more than they need her in NXT right now.
Absolutely.
But I think the same could also be said for a couple of women right now in NXT.
Well, the other thing is, and this is a whole separate tangent for another show, but like, when's Becky Lynch coming back? Because that greatly affects what type of women you need up and or not.
The current answer for that is that she's training, and it sounds like she may be ready to roll for SummerSlam.
Right. At least we know who Roman Reigns is going to wrestle now.
The man versus the head of the table.
Booyaka, booyaka.
Io Shirai. She just did a 619. Here is just one last thing to add on this before we, I think, move on here. Raquel Gonzalez has already put out in interviews that winning back the NXT women's tag titles is her second priority that she plans to make happen. So I think we're going to end up putting both straps on her.
God, she's so awful.
I don't think she's awful, but she's not Io Shirai, which is...
She needs more seasoning, I think. And we're not giving her... Yeah, and we're not giving her the time to grow.
They didn't do that in the first place. She needed way more work before they put the title on her. But
my prediction is she's gonna reverse an eclipse into that single hand power bomb. So she doesn't even need to pick up Ember Moon. Ember Moon's got to already be diving.
She'll find a way to botch that.
Maybe. Probably.
She's not good in ring.
She's passable, but she's not the worst woman signed to WWE.
Well, I mean, Eva Marie is about to come back, so
I might have Eva Marie over someone else at this point. You know who. You know who. We don't need to do this on this air.
Yeah, we do.
Is Eva Marie injuring people when she wrestles?
I don't even think of her as a wrestler anymore.
One notch above. All right.
Always.
Up next, 6-man tag for both the NXT North American title and the NXT tag titles. It is Bronson Reed and MSK defending against Legado del Fantasma. Winner take all. And I'm
pass to me.
Yeah, go ahead. Start off.
Guys, Legado del Fantasma is winning. Okay.
I have to.
Is it too soon to take the North American title off of Bronson Reed? Yes. Can it come at the expense of MSK and Bronson Reed still look strong? Yes. How many times has MSK gone over Wild and Mendoza over the last month. Yeah,
Too much.
multiple,
A lot.
too much, guys. It's time. Okay,
Okay.
it is time for Legado del Fantasma to stand tall, have all the gold. There's okay. If they don't win here, break them up because there's nothing for them.
No, I don't think you need to jump off the cliff immediately here.
If they do, if they don't win, it means that they are going to the main roster as a group, in my opinion.
Yeah, I don't think you need to jump off the cliff a second that things have not gone right. Like I think there's still room for us to grow. There's still room for it.
See, I agree, but Santos Escobar is carrying around, about 400 pounds of dead weight. And
those guys
that's
are
no. They're more than capable in ring. I'm saying they're not booked for anything.
well, from a booking standpoint, then yes, you're right.
Yeah, from a booking standpoint, they can't buy a win, and that's the problem here. Is that if we're not going to push them as a trio now, then maybe it's best to put them at the main roster, because you're not using Angel Garza, you're not using Carrillo,
No,
except for being squashed to Sheamus.
You're using Carrillo on Raw. He's having regular matches at least.
Yeah, he's a jobber.
I think no, he had a double count out with Ricochet. He beat Sheamus.
Yeah, but
right.
but only after Sheamus had already lost a match that night.
No, I think he won the first one.
What didn't Ricochet win? I don't know.
I can't remember.
I know they both beat him.
No, but I think he has another win over him as well.
Humberto.
No, I mean I'm down. Once again, I'm down with me on the main roster. I just feel like it's so early to take the belt off of Bronson Reed. My only thing would be if he ends up becoming like the number one contender for the NXT title immediately after. Like, are we just gonna immediately push him right up the card? Because I feel like you can't put the belt on Escobar and then take it off of Escobar immediately. Like, this should be the vehicle to keep Escobar as champion for a while.
This could be insert foot here, but if Bronson Reed and Santos Escobar aren't involved in the finish, you could have MSK and Bronson Reed still retain, and then now you have Santos Escobar that can say, "You never pinned me," and then that could be the build for their match, and that's when you get it off of him.
I could see that. I could see that as well.
There are plenty of options.
What was Garza's name on the independent scene? Was he just Garza Jr.?
Yeah.
Senor Garza.
Oh no, he was El Hijo del Ninja and Humberto Garza. You know what? I'm in. Have if Legado Fantasma lose, drop Mendoza and Wild from the group and add in Humberto and Garza to the stable since they're actually brothers.
I'll be okay with
that. Maybe that's how we do it, or maybe we make it a 5-man stable. I don't know. We have to do something.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like Santos Escobar is too big of a star.
Oh, they're gonna win.
So then what are we doing with Bronson? That's kind of my whole thing.
Bronson's
main roster, baby.
Main roster or main event?
Both.
Wait. By main event, you mean main event of NXT, right?
Yes. I did mean main event of NXT, but Ryan is correct. If he gets brought up, we'll be seeing him on main event. And by that, I mean
versus Ricochet.
We won't be seeing him on main event because I don't watch main event.
Who watches that fucking shit?
I didn't even know until they started talking about Ricochet being demoted to main event that main event was still a thing, to be totally honest.
Ali just had a match with Jeff Hardy. on main event. Jeff Harvey.
I saw a really funny meme about Jeff Hardy, but it's not appropriate to share on the podcast.
That's
So,
how
guys,
that's how you know it's a good one.
Pay in for the Discord.
Oh, that's right.
All right.
What, we let people pay to join the Discord?
Hey, man,
You
whatever
should
pays
put
the
that on our
bill.
Patreon.
$100 a year.
Gee.
You get all exclusive content.
You even get the hush hush group, the super secret hush hush group.
No one will ever know. Hid behind a Patreon wall. All right, next up. Oh man, we have already covered most. All right, Cameron
For
Grimes.
the record, the guy El Taz was going to win the match.
All right,
I don't know if you let me get that out, but they're going to win.
Probably not.
And Bronson Reed will rather be wrestling Johnny Gargano for the world title, or he'll be on SmackDown as a Funkasaurus.
What a prediction there for your main event, I guess, as well. Let's go to the ladder match first. For the $1 million championship, it's LA Knight versus Cameron Grimes. And let me tell you guys, Cameron Grimes is about to take the $1 million championship to the moon.
Yeah, there's no other way to do this.
How did he suddenly become a face? Did you guys catch that?
That's why his ass is gonna lose.
I'm glad you're on this LA Knight train. Listen, LA Knight's a glorified jobber at this point.
I love LA Knight.
I love him, and he deserves so much better.
That's why he's gonna win. You know why? Because they just face turned Cameron Grimes instead of doing what he obviously needed to do. And that was to pay somebody to kill LA Knight so he didn't have to fight him for this title.
There's still time.
Instead of using his money, which is the $1 million thing to do, LA Knight is going to pay somebody to help him take out Cameron Grimes, which is the ultimate sign of the $1 million legacy. Paying somebody else to do your dirty work.
Guys,
hey, is there any chance that we get a Virgil sighting?
It's not gonna be Virgil.
It's gonna be Leon Ruff. The real answer is Swerve Scott's group.
I was gonna say Hit Row is gonna collect their first hit.
Yes.
Wow, that's
on
really
LA
good.
Knight, because Cameron Grimes ain't actually.
Hey, that would be a really cool thing to happen, wouldn't it, Ryan? But
if it was LA Knight that pays them off, I don't think Cameron Grimes is going to do that.
No. LA Knight's got to pay him off. He's the bad guy here.
No.
We all know
it's gotta be Cameron Grimes
going to take this belt to the moon.
It's got to be Cameron Grimes. Because after Cameron Grimes wins, Hit Row takes out Cameron Grimes. They've been putting out promos where they want all of the belts. A new one just came up. You have it right in your hands. Drop them. Instant feud. Yes.
Something's gonna happen. I think LA Knight's gonna win because
but also
the $1 million title is supposed to be held by a bad guy. You're not supposed to have a face carry that thing. And I do think they face term Grimes. So I think LA Knight.
I'd be down for it. I feel like it has to be Cameron Grimes.
Your guess is as good as mine on this, but I don't know, man. I want this match to end with Cameron Grimes at the top of the fucking ladder, and him like the $1 million man's music hits, and he's like,
the belt raises.
Remember, Cameron, everybody's got a price, and somebody's got to pay, and that's when somebody pushes the ladder over with him on it.
Oh my god!
And you hear the maniacal Ted DiBiase laugh as
You know who's gonna help LA Knight
gets the belt.
You know who's gonna help LA Knight?
Who?
LA Knight doesn't have the funds for this. You know who does have the funds?
Oh man, someone who has trust funds.
You know it's trust funds time, baby. Jared Silverclight.
Man, it would be
Trust
really,
Fund Corporation.
that would be really, really cool, but he's not signed to WWE, right?
No one knows anything. Look, as the
Look, I'm thoroughly enjoying this, but we have 9 minutes and 18 seconds to finish recording this.
that's okay. The main event, I think, is gonna be quick.
If I do this.
So it's Fatal 5-Way for the NXT title. Karrion Kross versus Kyle O'Reilly versus Adam Cole versus Johnny Gargano versus Pete Dunne. Guys, Karrion Kross is winning.
Beautiful, beautiful mind. Listen, he's not going to be involved in the finish.
I agree.
Because it's going to be Johnny Gargano.
It is. He's right.
Guys,
and everyone's going to be pissed.
Listen, who is on TV every single week? Okay, Johnny Gargano. Pete Dunne.
Johnny Takeover.
Listen, yes, Johnny Takeover. We're gonna get a throwback here. It's in your house. It's gonna be a throwback to an old Johnny Takeover. Okay, he is going to pin Peter Dunne. Okay,
I am 100% in agreement with this, except he's gonna pin Cool Kyle.
See, the only reason I could see that kind of not playing out is if him and Adam Cole take each other out. My theory is Kross is going to the main roster.
I think Kross and Adam Cole are going to the main roster.
Oh, I hope so, because then that means my beginning of the year predictions are correct.
It's almost August.
You did say Undisputed Era.
Yeah, I did.
But
you know what? I get a quarter of a point. Okay.
Yeah, quarter of a point.
Speaking of, we gotta do our check in on how we're doing with our predictions soon.
I feel like I'm doing super awesome.
I don't remember any.
I don't remember a single one of mine, but I have a feeling I'm doing great. I'm fantastic.
So I still think Karrion Kross here, though. I don't think they're gonna jump him up just yet.
If he's
not wait till after SummerSlam.
If he's not going to the main roster, then I agree he'll win. But I agree with Ryan. I think he's going to the main roster. That's why they abruptly got rid of Aleister Black. Is Vince looks at those guys and are like, that's the same gimmick, even though it's not the same gimmick. And he's like, I want the big, strong looking dude, not the guy who could have came out of rehab looking dude. This is Vince talking, not me.
So guys, there's our predictions for NXT in your house. Tell us what you like, what you don't like, kids, in the comment section below. But before we go,
wait, I had more to my prediction for Johnny.
Actually, that's also true. We have one more prediction left, also.
Also, Dexter Lumis is going to be involved in this match.
Last thing, who's the Diamond Mine?
To be determined. They won't be on this show.
They're not.
Oh, you think they're gonna drag it out?
Yeah. Why would they be on this show?
Because Takeover is for big moments, like Tessa Blanchard showing up.
Are you predicting it's gonna be Tessa?
Yes. I'm going with the old pictures of her training with Sasha and Bailey. That's kind of my determining factor here.
Okay, all right. I'm gonna still say to be determined. I can't see them appearing here.
I think it's going to be someone we're not expecting. I think it's going to be like someone coming from MMA. I don't know who, but
Gable Steveson.
I also think that Diamond Mine could be a group
Stable.
and not a person.
I could be in on that.
Also,
Tessa Ann Blanchard. Jessica Daga.
Also, the right answer for this, and I don't think it will be, but if we're looking at a perfect person to introduce here with Diamond Mine and like, you know, this whole gimmick is Parker Bordeaux, the offensive lineman from UCF that WWE signed in developmental about a year ago.
I don't think it was a year ago. I think it was only at the beginning of the year.
It might not be that long. I don't. Yeah, time is.
It's been a myth. Yeah, it's a myth in this time period.
Yeah, the time is, you know, just all messed up because of pandemic.
All right. Before we run out of time, do you want to give a prediction, or do you just get stick with not happening on this show?
It's not going to happen, but I think when it does, I think there's going to be Arturo Ruas. I've been on this
That's a
train
good
for a
prediction.
while. He was in the Raw Underground. He was drafted to Raw and then was quickly moved back to NXT. And right now he has a bicep injury, which would explain why we haven't seen him since the draft. So I'm assuming that means
He
he's
was drafted to Raw, though.
Huh?
I thought he was drafted to Raw.
Well, no. All right. So I said he was drafted to Raw, and then he is now back in NXT. They've already made that switch on their website.
Interesting.
Yeah. I don't think it's a person though.
Before we run out of time, Cod, hit him with the plug.
Yep, same as last time. Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, Dwight's Odyssey, Twitch. Why not? Kofi.com says PW123. Just do it.
Do it.
Guys, and I've got some time left. I'm gonna do it. Next Generation Wrestling Tennessee. We are traveling to Knoxville, Tennessee here in just over 2 weeks for their show on June 27th. Tickets are still available, although very few are available. Go to nextgentn.net. Adult tickets $18, children's tickets $15. Get there. They take you to all their social medias. Everything's there for you.
Take a picture in front of our sign.
Cannot wait.
Yeah, man. I'm pumped. Guys, with that, I gotta go before the timer runs out on me. Thank you guys. Like I said, tell us what you guys think down in the comment section below. Yell at us. We're here for it. So we'll see you Monday on the WrestleCast, and also a bunch of stuff that's just dropping this weekend. So live show Monday. Hear us a review this show and Impact's Against All Odds. We'll see you then. Stay safe, stay healthy. Goodbye, good night. Bang.